All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? We're gonna give everybody a few seconds to come on in the room. Give everybody a few seconds to come on in the room. Hey guys, um, let me know. Make sure you guys can hear me. Everything sounding good. Give me that thumbs up. Give me that thumbs up. You guys see what we got going on here, guys? You see, we keep moving, we keep moving, we keep grooving. We keep this a guy. Everybody keep asking me, Mark, where you keep getting all these guests from? The bird, the bird. Of course, guys, I got some guests who's not from the bird, but there's also a guest from the bird, also a graduate of Orangeburg Wilkerson High. Shout out to Dub. Episode 80. Miss Marisa, she's an author. Now it's so funny, guys, because a lot of guys we all went to school together. You're like, I didn't know she wrote books. I didn't know she had two books. Hey, that means some guys, and if you guys were so nosy, you guys also see I had the links in the above on the Facebook. The links were available, and the links are also available on the YouTube. So if you want to purchase one of those books, you can click the link and follow the instructions. So episode 80, 101 with Marisa Victoria. What's going on, Marisa?
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How's life
Hey.
treating you?
Life is treating me well. I really, really, really can't complain. Like I'm really happy. I'm content, and I'm optimistic about the future.
Oh, that is a that's very. I like that you actually put that so good. Okay, okay. So I know you've seen some episodes, so we always start from the beginning.
hmm
So Max, where were you born at?
I was born in Orangeburg, baby, at the Regional Medical Center.
Oh, Big Bird, Big Bird, TRMC baby.
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty much, so you're born in Orangeburg, and
hmm
so okay, so you're born in Orangeburg. So did you spend all your life in Orangeburg, or was it like a break of like somewhere else, back and forth, or the whole time here?
Whole time here. I was born in Orangeburg. I didn't leave Orangeburg until I graduated high school and went to college.
Okay, okay, so we're gonna bring it back. Okay, so if somebody was to ask, what kind of child was Marissa? And when I say child, I'm talking like elementary school age. What kind of child would people say that you were at that age?
I think they would say I was smart,
Uh huh.
reserved, and
Okay.
kind of stayed out the way. Yeah,
Okay.
I was kind of cool with, cool with everybody. So,
With everybody. Okay.
yeah.
Even that earlier. So at earlier, did you play any after we talking about elementary school age, did you play any sports or anything like that? Any sports or?
Elementary school,
Mm,
I don't have any extracurricular activities. Now that I think about it, I'm gonna call my mom and tell her about it. But no, I went to school. I went home, and honestly, the only time I did anything extra was like over the summer.
okay.
My mom worked, so we went to daycare and summer programs over the summer. So of course they took us swimming, skating. I
Okay.
learned how to line dance and stuff like that during the summer. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's fun. So everybody gonna see it smart. So because even I had that same opinion on I had that same opinion of you. So that means even in you kept that same smart thing forever. Okay. And what elementary school did you go to?
I went to Sheridan.
You in the Sheridan? Okay, okay. Which one is Sheridan? Oh, that's by me. Okay, you in the Sheridan? Okay.
Yeah, Hillsboro.
Shout out Sheridan. Okay, so Sheridan. So then you great child, Sheridan. Not you say you kept it pretty focused. Okay. So what middle school did you go to?
William J. Clark.
You in the Clark? Okay, you Clark me. So when you get to Clark, now
hmm
Clark, I know that's when some people like you go from the elementary school to middle school. So at
hmm
Clark, were you the same kind of child, or you start noticing like, okay, this a little
Um,
different, or you still kept it pretty straight?
I was pretty much the same type of kid. Now, when I say, let me make sure I clear it. Now, when I say
Okay.
smart, I'm saying what other people said.
No, you were smart. You were smart. You were
But
smart. You
but
were
for
smart.
me though, it was just going to school, kind of just doing my work and going home. So when I went to middle school, the difference was then they expected us to study,
Uh-huh.
you know, and so that was a bit of a shocker. And then middle school, we had a little bit more freedom. I don't know if you remember, but when I started 5th grade at Clark, we used to sit on the e-carter on the inside, and it would be kind of quiet, but you kind of sit with people, you talk, you read, you do whatever you do before that first bell rings. So I remember just kind of making friends, you know, because a lot of people went to NYSP or, you know, I had a best friend that was my friend in kindergarten. She went to Felton, but she came to Clark when we got in like 5th or 6th grade. So I had her. So it was like reconnecting with her, but then just learning, you know, all the people that went to Marshall. So middle school wasn't really it wasn't a change. If anything, it was exciting. I was excited to go to school.
Excited to go to school. Okay, so in middle school, just like I asked Davey now I could be wrong. Was you was using the pro? Was you in the magnet program or no?
I was in the magnet program, and as soon as you blink, I was out of the magnet program. So. Okay.
That's the same story David had, but for some reason I remember you guys just. I don't know why I thought. You know, you're a year behind me. I still thought y'all. I thought y'all guys was over there the whole time.
No, not me. 5th and 6th grade, I had really good relationships with my teachers. So I actually thank my 6th grade teachers, Miss Daniels, Miss Maple. I'm missing one. I can't call her name, but they recommended me for the magnet program. I think the magnet program was closed. They weren't taking any more students. You know, they had done, you know, with their testing, because they knew from 4th grade who they wanted in the magnet program, you know, once the class came over to middle school.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Well, this is I only know. So 5th and 6th grade, my teachers, they kind of got together and they was like, you know, she don't really need to be in our class. Like, she's not a problem. She just don't need to be in our class. So they recommended me for the magnet program. That's how I ended up in the magnet program my 7th grade year. But it was a bit much for me. So I actually asked to leave, and I went back to regular classes 8th grade.
Okay. So we get to 8th grade. So did anything interesting happen in middle school? Kind of even the clubs. I don't know if you got any. I think you was pretty straight. You know, like you said, you didn't do no sports. Shout out to Mama Love. We have to talk to Mama Love about that. No extracurricular activities. We have to talk to Mama Love about that.
Talk to her. So, I sang on the choir. So I was in the choir.
Shout out Miss Mac.
So whatnot. I actually was in strings for a little while. I played the cello. So yeah, I have a little skit there.
Okay. I know it was something there now.
Yeah, it was something. And then for a little while, this wasn't with the school, but I can't remember the name of the group, but the city, one of the city leagues, they had a cheerleading squad.
Yep.
And you remember Shakimia?
Yep.
So Shakimia was like head of the cheerleading squad. So she got me onto the cheerleading squad with her. So that's something that I did like in my free time on the weekend and stuff like that. So yeah, that was my life.
Okay, see now you about to lie on Mama. So shout out Mama, because you wasn't on cheerleading squad. Come on. I'm sorry, you just forgot. Okay, so you go to middle school. Middle school is pretty good. Like I said, you get through, no troubles. Just so you said you still just a regular, just a clean cut kid. And when we saying clean cut, we speaking generally. You're not really getting in no trouble. You're doing your work, staying out the way.
Yeah, the most I got in trouble for was running my mouth. Everybody just agreed I talked too much. That was it.
That's why it made you a great author. And if you guys are looking, make sure if you're on Facebook, hit that link above. And if you're on YouTube, hit that link below. You could purchase her books. Okay, well anyway, okay. So you get there. Okay, so it's time to go to the dub.
It's time to go to the dub.
Everybody know the dub is you got to be in there. All I'm gonna say with the dub, you just had to been there. It's one of those things to like, if you was there, you know what it was. If you wasn't there, you hear the stories.
Right.
So now I ask everybody this who went to a W. What was that freshman year like that transition, because that transition way different from the transition from elementary to middle school.
Mm-hmm.
What was that transition like going from Clark to OW? What was that transition like for you?
Okay, this is what I'll say. At the end of 8th grade, my friend Janae, she begged me to try out for the cheerleading squad. So we were trying out for B team for OW.
Okay.
So I tried out for cheerleading, and I just so happened to make the squad. So that made my transition into high school a little easier.
Okay.
I was practicing over the summer with the cheerleaders, so I already knew, the girls from Clark, the girls from Howard, the girls from Felton, because we was all on the squad together, the girls from Brookdale.
Okay.
So I had a bit of a cushion when I walked into OW the first day, because we also had the varsity cheerleaders who taught us cheers and stuff like that. So on the first day of school, I know a few seniors, I got, I know who I'm sitting with already. Okay. So it made the transition easy for me. And my uncle, he gave me some advice before I started high school. He said, now when you get to high school, it's going to be a whole bunch of different people there. And he said, one thing that you need to remember is girls know how to fight and boys will fight girls. So keep your mouth and your hands to yourself and you'll be fine.
That is some great advice. That's some great advice. Yep. Okay, so you get that. So did you cheerlead all 4 years?
I did 3. I did 3.5 years. Yeah.
Okay. So that's what it is. So you get to a W. So even besides that, so did you pretty much, was it like exciting coming to a W? Did you enjoy the, man, I'm telling you, because when your freshman year at W, it still was kind of the Wild Wild West. Isn't that calmed down a little bit?
Absolutely. It was still the Wild Wild West, because I don't know what year it was. Like the first day of school when the bell rung, the whole school was fighting. Like
that would be your freshman year. That would be your freshman year.
When I tell people that story, they really don't understand what I'm saying when I say mayhem broke out when the bell rung.
It's crazy. Like, hey guys, if you don't know, I did a live about it. I'm gonna repost it. And funny story, I'm not going to mention the guy's name. I found out why that happened. Shout out to the homie that told me the whole story. He had a lot to do with that. But we're gonna him and his sister. But we're gonna let that be. So everybody know that shout out Al Mitchell here. That's 2002. Yeah, right. That was very crazy. But okay, so that is guys. Because we have people listening all over the United States, because the Marvel Sports and Life fan base has been growing. Thanks to you guys for your likes and shares. So that's a very true story. There's no sauce on that. There ain't nobody put no 10 on the 2.
Exactly.
That really happened. Craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Actually, like administrators full blown using football tackles on people.
Hello.
Like running down. It was something very, very, very different.
Shout out to Coach Saxon. I seen Coach Saxon. Shout out to Jonathan Saxon, who was a coach. He was a coach now at State, but his daddy. I seen Coach Saxon had his foot on somebody's neck, because that's how crazy it got.
I seen go ahead and take out 3 or 4 people at a time. So.
Hey, everybody on here, I remember that. Shout out to Robin Wright. Shout out to Al Mitch. Shout out for everybody. I remember that. Hey guys, if you're coming on in, hit that like and that share button. Hey guys, we're talking about this fight, but let's also not forget about this book. Hey, that support each other. But come on, I was slinging too. Al Mitch, all right, Al Mitch, don't incriminate yourself. I was slinging left and right too. shout out Al Mitch. Al Mitch, you still swing. Well, you used to swing left and right. Now you're a great middle school football coach. Right. That's the old you. That's the old security guard, Al Mitch. Now you leading kids in the right direction. Ain't that right, Al Mitch? Give me a thumbs up for that one. All right, I need that book. If you're looking for the book is in the watching on Facebook. Look above. The links are above. You don't have to do nothing but just hit the link and purchase the book. Hit the link, purchase the book. All right, so we get to a W. That's a fun story. Everybody from the they can appreciate that one. Okay, so you get to a W. You cheerleading now. And I must say, outside looking in, oh, you were younger than me, but you were pretty. I would put you in the. I would put you in the smart, popular. You was a smart, popular girl. Would that be fair?
Eh,
Would that be fair? Even though you're looking at yourself.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I wouldn't say popular. I would say
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wouldn't
Oh,
say
there you go.
popular.
Okay, you don't gotta say. I say it. I say it. You
That's
probably.
cool. I kind of floated.
You did float. You floated. You and your homegirls, and we won't say them there because I know how stuff be. People was homegirls. People was homegirl. Oh, shout out somebody with a compliment. Somebody with a compliment. Yes, she was smart, beautiful, and popping. Now that somebody else said that. Shout out Lil E. Okay. So would you say you get OW? When you say OW, could you maneuver pretty good? Would you say your whole 4 years was a pretty smooth transition? Like you got through there pretty smooth?
Yeah, you have the high school little bumps in the road, but
yes, of course.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing. I enjoyed my time there. I think I did what I was supposed to do while I was there. Yeah, high school it wasn't bad. And I know some people, they might be listening to this like, girl, you talk about Orangeburg like you don't want to be from Orangeburg. But it's like, it's different. But high school wasn't bad for me. It wasn't, because, you see kids, they deal with a lot these days that, they've been dealing with, of course. Yeah. But I would just say that I'm fortunate enough not to have that experience tied to my experience. Yeah.
Okay. So even at that point, were you a great writer even in high school? Did you notice that you loved to write a lot, or not really?
Well, I first noticed. Okay, so the first time anybody ever told me I was a good writer, I was in second grade. And that's when I don't remember what it was for, but we had to write some type of story or something. And I think I won like out of the school or something. I remember them bringing me the trophy after school one day because they said my name like over the intercom and stuff like that. So that was the first time anybody ever said, you're good at this thing right here.
Okay.
But I didn't start to really write down stories or anything like that until middle school is what I used to do. I used to write short stories and then I would perform them for my family.
Wow. Hold on now. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So you did not know that. So you were, even though now at that point you just say you writing stories, but at that time you really were a director who was acting out. You was a writer acting out your own short stories.
Well, yeah, because I was in love with urban fiction. I used to call them hood books because I fell in love with like Omar Tyree and Sister Soldier wrote Coldest Winter Ever. And I promise, when I read that book, it really changed my life because I had never read anything like that before. I didn't know, people wrote books like that before. So I got introduced to Sister Soldier first with Coldest Winter Ever. And then Omar Tyree.
How old were you at this time when you read Sister Soldier?
This is like 7th grade, 8th grade.
Wow.
Yeah, because and this is what I say about my experience. I'm just so blessed because again, I had never heard of Sister Soldier, never heard of Coldest Winter Ever. But I don't know if we can call names. I'm not gonna call a name. But she brought the book to school. Her mom had brought the book for her. She had finished reading it. So we basically formed a book club without knowing it was a book club. And we put in and we were just like, can I read the book next? And can I get it after you? And so when it was my turn to read the book, I was just blown away. Like I said, I read that. Then I read Fly Girl by Omar Tyree. And then I read Addicted by Zane. And I was just like, oh, this is opening up a new world for me. I didn't put into words like I want to be a writer because I still didn't think that was something that I could grasp. Like I thought that was for, different people. So I still didn't put together I wanted to be a writer, but I knew that reading those books really opened a new world for me. And they made me more interested really in being Black and being a girl and dating and like, kind of maneuvering through society because you live in your surroundings, and you learn how
Correct.
to adapt with your surroundings, but you always think kind of like you're the only one going through something. So then
Correct.
when you read a book and it's like, I know this person don't know me, and they writing about these feelings, and I'm having these feelings too, or I'm thinking this way, and or they talk like me. I want to dress like the way they're describing it in the book. I want to drive the cars that they talking about. Like, it just let me know that there's more to the world than what I was seeing every day.
Correct. Now I agree with Sister Soldier. I want to know. Now, this the dad. Now, this the daddy in me.
Okay.
You ain't had no business reading no Zane book in the 7th grade.
You had no business. None. No business whatsoever reading that book. But I'm telling you, we could not put it down.
I bet so.
And lucky for me, my mama worked real hard. She wasn't a big, leisure reader. So she had no clue what I was reading. Nor was she interested in picking it up and reading it. Because, of course, she thought, you're in 7th or 8th grade. You're reading something for 7th and 8th grade. It's like, no, girl, this better than The Young and the Restless right here.
Your mama would have read 3 pages. She would have burned the book. She'd have read 3 pages.
Burned the book and went to school the next day and made sure nobody else was reading that book.
Yeah, that was probably a passing out, but it's so crazy. Now that goes to show how sometimes how male and female is different. Now, even though y'all shouldn't be reading a book, y'all still is passing around a novel.
Mm-hmm.
It's still passing around a screen novel. For boys, we're gonna pass around a magazine, and we ain't reading none of the literature in them books. Zero. And so it's like a double-edged sword. At least y'all are sneaking around a novel. We sneak around a magazine. You can roll around this right here and just you can pass it on. So that's great. So
it's all coming of age stuff.
Nah, I don't want she 14 now, so it's whatever. But I want to read that. But that still goes to show, even in that, you still have to have the initiative. Because that's still a whole novel, guys. I don't know if people remember them Zane books. Well, I know, guys, we didn't read them, but like I remember them girls having them things like in their little book bags. Like them girls had like whole books, whole compilations, volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But shout out to that. The opening your I guess you're opening your imagination to your creative imagination. We'll just say that creative imagination.
Right.
Okay, so
right.
You're in high school. You're a great writer. You're getting through school. So I got 2 questions. So if I were to talk to Marisa in the 12th grade, what does she want to be in life? What does she want her occupation to be? If she knows.
If you talk to Marisa in the 12th grade and she tells you the truth,
okay,
tell you she wants to be a lawyer.
Okay. So if she tells me a lie, what would she say?
She wants to be a teacher.
Okay. And why? And does she have to tell the lie and the truth for family expectations, or what she think people want her to be?
Right. So I wanted to be a lawyer from like 8, 9 years old.
Okay.
But then I got to like 10th, 11th grade, and I told my father I wanted to be a lawyer. And now that I think about it, he didn't say anything bad, but he was just like, it's more lawyers than criminals. He said it like that. But the fact that I was so vulnerable and that was his first response, it just burst my little bubble. So I was just like, well, maybe I just won't do it. So then my father's side of the family, they're all educators. So naturally it was like, no, you're smart, you can write, you can read well, you can do all these things. You're supposed to be a teacher. So I was just like, okay, I'll just be a teacher.
Okay. So I got a question. So when you was at OW, did you have that teaching class that Miss Green taught at OW? Let
me tell you. I had the class, right? I got kicked out the class. I wish I could name everybody in that class who got me in trouble, because I am the laugher. What I do is laugh. I am going to laugh
Okay.
at every funny joke because that's I'm tickled.
Uh-huh.
Miss Green was so fed up. She kicked about 3 of us out that class. I had to go be a student assistant.
Wow. And rest in peace, Miss Green.
Oh, I didn't know. Rest in peace, Miss
Yeah,
Green.
you Miss Crazy. I actually took that class. Let me tell you why I took that class. And she might be on here, so I'm not gonna say her name either. Shout out to you know you all. I had a driver's ed class my senior year. This young lady at this time who was my friend. I changed my class to be in her class. And it didn't even work out. But I decided to finish the so
you should try.
that's the whole story. Shout out to you. You know you're good about book. Shout out to you and your marriage and your family and all your endeavors. I'm not gonna say her name, but shout out to her. She's good people. But I took that class. But what that class did do, it showed me that I actually wanted to be a teacher. Of course, we know I didn't pursue it for whatever reason, but that class when I was a teacher, want to be a teacher. So shout out to you for not even making it through the class. Did you make it through the student teacher part or no? Did you get to go to the class? Wait a minute.
You know what? I'm gonna call her name too because everybody on this live knows she a clown. Quinta Smith was in that class.
Shout out Quinta Smith.
All she did was crack jokes, but she did it under her breath. But I don't know how to laugh under my breath. Like I'm laughing, like I'm crying. I got tears coming out of my eyes. Like that lady was so fed up with us. She made me put my desk outside the door for a few days, and then after that, she was just like, "Don't come back to my class." Like
that's crazy. And you know what's crazy? Now think about it. Everybody in that class became teachers, except me and Thomas. Shout out Thomas. Everybody in that classroom became teachers.
Well, you see Miss Wright. She said it's not too late, and it's not too late. They need black male. They need teachers in general, but black male teachers always need black male teachers.
I know. I bet you thought about it, but I think I'm also find myself in being try to be a more of a black male mentor who looks apart, I look like how I'm supposed to look, and I'm able to reach the kids. Okay, so of course so that means if you line everybody to appease everybody, which and do you feel as though because I didn't have this pressure. My sister might have felt this pressure. I didn't have the pressure because in me, they just were like, I ain't get no trouble. I made decent enough grades to get out of school. And my parents were like, okay, you made it. I want you to go do something. So what college did you want to go to? And what college did you go to? Or were they one and the same?
I wanted to go to Clark Atlanta.
Okay.
That's where I wanted to go. Because I wanted to go to Atlanta. I wanted to go to Atlanta since I was like 13 years old. So when I graduated, I was like, I'm going to Clark Atlanta. That's where I'm going to school.
Okay.
Had another family member. she bust my bubble. And I was very, I didn't have a lot of extracurricular activity. So I spent a lot of my time with family. So what they said, and, I weighed it a lot heavier.
Very heavily. Okay.
So, another family member just kind of like, why are you going to Clark Atlanta? And I couldn't give her a speech on why I wanted to go. Besides, one of my adopted big sisters went there and I want to be in Atlanta. That's it. So I ended up going to Winthrop because a lot of the kids that I was cool with at OW, they went to Winthrop. So I just applied and I went to Winthrop.
And you got it. I'm pretty sure you got it with no problem. I'm pretty sure your SAT. So I'm pretty sure your grades. So I'm pretty sure you had no problem. So did you go to Winthrop on a scholarship, partial scholarship, full scholarship?
It was partial because I think I got like the Hope scholarship and maybe a couple private ones. So it was partial. Okay.
So did you enjoy your time? Hey! Look at that. You seem pretty damn popular to me, ma'am. But anyway. Seem pretty damn popular to me.
Those people I really love too, so that's what's up.
That's good. I'm glad you guys supporting her, and you guys also support. Hit that link above on the Facebook. If you're in the YouTube, the link is in the description. If you are watching this on YouTube, go to the description. The link is in the description. Okay, so you go to Winthrop. How would you say your experience at Winthrop is?
Amazing.
Amazing.
Is okay. I didn't finish at Winthrop.
Okay.
That's how amazing my first year was. But it was amazing. Okay, it was amazing. I think you have to kind of go to, because Winthrop is a predominantly white school.
It is.
So if you go to a predominantly white school, you have a different outlook on being Black and kind of congregating as Black people do. Because at
Okay.
HBCU, almost everybody is Black,
Correct.
But at a PWI, you're small pockets of you, and you have to, kind of get together because you're not the majority.
Gotcha.
So it gave me a very different outlook. I wish I had the wherewithal and the self-discipline to have finished at Winthrop, because I do think just after that first year, I think a few more years there, I would have really, I guess, been who I knew that I was capable of being.
Okay.
So yeah, but it wasn't, I don't have any regrets except for the fact that I had to pay for that first year because I did such a terrible job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we all been there. Hey, I got on academic probation at OC Tech. Shout out to all the homies, and we all got on academic. Shout out to the homies. We all got on academic probation together. We did as a whole unit. Too much fun. We was all in the bird. Too much fun. Too much rack 'em up on Thursday nights.
Ooh.
And that and other establishments. So okay, so you end up coming back. Did you finish at what did you finish at, State or
at Claflin? I'm a
Claflin?
Of Claflin University. Yep, class of 2014.
Shout out Claflin because Harvard of the South. Because I tell you one thing about y'all Claflin nights, boy, y'all love y'all institution. Y'all love y'all institution.
Yeah, that's what we learned, and Claflin takes very good care of itself.
Okay.
So you go there as a student, and makes you feel proud because you see how much they devote to themselves. You see, Russell Street, you see it's Claflin, Claflin State, Claflin. They're
right.
buying up everything. They're doing, I really will say that President Tisdale, he embodies a visionary. And he makes you want to grow into being a visionary. Yeah.
Okay. I can agree with that. So you go to Claflin, and what is your major at Claflin?
My major at Claflin was education. But I was over it. And I knew I didn't want to be a teacher, especially because the closer I got to it and seeing those starting salaries, I was just like, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So I switched it to sociology. It would have been social work, but Claflin is a liberal arts school, so we don't have a social work degree, we have a sociology degree.
Okay.
So I sat in a sociology class. I really liked the way that it made me, just really think. So I changed my major to sociology, and so I graduated with a sociology degree.
Okay. Shout out to Claflin for that. Okay, so at that time, you going to school. I don't jump around too far. You go to school. You get back. The only thing that matters is you get back focused and you do it. And of course, you get to live in between. So when does it? First of all, I want to give you credit because most individuals don't have the wherewithal or don't have the starter point to know where to start with the book, let alone two. So where does the book thought process starts? Like, I know it didn't just come at one time. When did the book process start kind of like playing with your mental conduct?
That goes back to middle school. Like I said, with Sister Soldier, it opened up a world. So I started writing that way just for myself.
Okay.
So then while I was at Claflin, one of my electives, I took a creative writing course. And in that course, we had to write a short story. It was like I don't know, 20, 30 pages, something like that.
Okay.
We had to write a short story. So I I've always been this way, but I sat in a computer lab and I wrote my story an hour before class started.
20 pages?
I turned it in. And my professor at the time, he was a short, older white guy. He when he gave it back to us, he gave me an A. And he told me, he said, if you finish this story, no, he was like, what are your plans for the future? And I was like, I'm a sociology major. I'll probably be a social worker. And he was like, you don't want to be a writer? I was like, oh, I kind of laughed him off. And I was just like, I do want to write one book before I die. That's the only promise that I had made to myself. Mm-hmm. So he was like, well, I tell you what, if you finish this story, I'll give you an A in my class. Like, it doesn't matter if I don't see you again. If you never come back to class, if you just finish the story, I'll give you an A in my class. Like, that's how much he wanted me to believe in me, I guess.
Wow.
So that was my second nudge. Like, okay, maybe it's not just something you do well. Maybe it's something that you're supposed to do.
Okay.
So that kind of kicked in, but I still didn't, I just kind of played around. And then the top of, I get my years confused now with this situation we're in, but the top of 2021, I was just like, if I don't put it together and put it out, I'm never going to know what it feels like, and I'm never going to be able to move on. So that's what I did.
No, I'm not gonna let you just get that off. Hold on, we gotta bring that. I ain't gonna let you get that off, because okay. that's a big gap from the little white man saying you can do it to
right.
I put it out. So how did you do it? Did you now? Cause I want people, because you might be right now where you are, whether you know it or not. Especially this, I call it Black Girl Magic era, which is a great era, especially me having a daughter. What is the ground point? What's the first thing you do? Do you say, let me get a software? Or do you start writing on Microsoft Word? Do you start writing on the Apple? Do you start writing on your, like what is the starting point of you saying, sit down, Marisa, we're going to write this book? And how did you pick your title? Not title of the book. I'm sorry, not your title. How did you pick your subject matter, I guess?
Gotcha. Well, I'm a pen and paper type of girl. So I got to sit down with pen and paper. That's how I draw things out, because I really do draw them out. I do like a third or fourth grade. I'm drawing out a web diagram. I got my subject in the middle, and I'm doing my legs and all those things. So that's how I do it. So I'm a pen and paper girl. But what made me sit down and put it together? That's your question, right?
Yeah.
Like, what? Oh, the subject. I was at a place in my life where I knew that I was coming out of my wilderness, and I knew that I was going into all of the things that I had prayed for while I was in the wilderness. And so the book, to me, it was easy to put together because everything that was written in the wilderness. And so it was like, I knew that in my life, that chapter was closing. I knew that I had, made it through. And so that chapter was closing. So it was easy to put it all in a book, because there's no rest of the story. Like, that's it. These are my thoughts. These are my feelings. This is how these, at 3 years, it's about 3 years time. This is how this has affected me. And this is the only way I can truly know that I'm over it. It's, y'all know her as Superhead. You remember Superhead, Corinne Steffens.
Yes.
She wrote I'm Never Gonna Let It Die. Her first book was a very good book. But anyway, but it's something that she said in an interview, because Oprah asked her. Oprah was like, how do you know what's okay for you to write? And she said, well, I don't write it until I'm over it. For me, I didn't know I was over it. Like, I knew that I was over it once I was able to put it on paper and print it.
Okay.
If nobody ever bought it, to say, okay, I did this one thing that I promised myself, and I know that it's closing this chapter in my life.
And which book was the first book? Somebody check on the black girl?
Yeah, somebody please check on the black girl. Yep.
Can you please put the book up again?
Mm-hmm. It's
Mm-hmm.
And so we're clear. It's not a novel, as you can see. It's thin, but it's a book of poems and prose, which is just it's long form thought, some short form thought, just a lot of things that I've learned just over a 3-year period, and being able to make sense of a lot of my life before that 3-year period.
Okay. So you did it. So did you just Google how to get a book published? I'm saying like
okay. That was the other part of your question. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I curated my social media to only follow people doing what I want to do. So I started following.
Hey, can you start that right fast? I want you to repeat that because somebody in the back needs to hear that again. Could you please? Because that means you changing your mindset. Could you please repeat that again?
Right. So I curated my social media to only reflect people doing something that I want to do. And then I latched on to this one girl, and I just kind of followed her process. And lucky enough for me, she was, showing us different apps on how to create covers and things like that. So I followed her. Then I would download the apps, and I just started practicing. So that's what I would do. I would play YouTube videos that tell you how to write books. And while I'm playing the video in the background, I'm practicing on the apps, practicing my illustration, learning what colors I like, things like that. But it was just what I'm now okay with calling research. It was a lot of research. It was a lot of, just seeing what other people did and seeing what part of their process resonated with me, and then adding it to my process.
See. Now that's why I love it, because some people get, I think so many people get, because now you can attest to this, yes or no. I think sometimes some people get, because even I know even me doing something as simple as, I can't say simple, something simple as podcasts, some people get overtaken. They can't even finish the act because they just get taken by the idea of the act.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to actually do that, which is not easy, you was really determined, because sometimes if you just hear, I have a book, or you can purchase it, that idea is that idea, even before you even know what the work is, it just seems like so much.
Yeah. I think it's really just getting out of your own way, because I think the reason why people don't start is because they're thinking about the end.
Mm-hmm.
But really, in completing any type of project, all you can handle is one step at a time. So the first step, right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The second step, put it together, edit it. Does it say what you want it to say? Do you think that the reader will, understand where you're coming from? And then, you get to play around with the illustration or hire somebody for illustration.
Okay.
I did everything myself for both books. The only thing I don't do is sell it. Amazon is my seller.
Okay.
And I think you can find it at Walmart as well. But everything else, I did.
Don't. We not gonna let you just gloss over that just now. Okay. You can find your book where? Where can we find your book at?
Okay, so you can if you just Google the title, it'll come up. Sometimes it'll come up at Walmart, and it'll come up on Amazon.
That girl book in Walmart, a girl from the bird who went on to do her thing. Her book is available on Walmart. And I know sometimes if people think this, and sometimes as people we don't like to toot our own horn, but I don't, and I think people watching this is gonna be on my side. I just don't want you to minimize that accomplishment. You feel me?
Yes, Yes, I definitely feel you, and God bless you for that. I have a career coach. She tells me that all the time. She's like, Marissa, I'm very proud of you, and I'm like, oh, thank you. She was like, no, but you need to be proud of yourself. Like, you need to be proud of your strides. So I am learning to not minimize what I've done and be proud of even the small things, because I go to scripture sometime, and it's like the only way you'll get the big thing that you ask God for is if he can trust you over the small things. And part of trusting you over the small thing is you being able to acknowledge your behavior and what you've done, to make it happen, and also just be grateful that you were the one chosen to do it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm with that. Okay, so when we come out, now let me tell you. Now I'm about to fuss at you a little bit, just a little bit, because what I didn't know is, and when did you release this book?
The first book I released January 2021.
January 2021. That's actually not too long ago. I did not know that you even had a book out until I found you on Instagram. And I'm like, because I didn't even know, because sometimes we see so much things like, oh, somebody's talking about somebody else's book. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know. I'm like, oh, I really thought, this being a guy said, oh, she's taking a picture with a book. Taking a picture. She's just taking a picture with a book, which will, like, now I'm looking at it, makes sense, but like, people do pictures now that sometimes it'd be deeper meaning, so trying to figure it out can, whatever. So I'm like, oh, this girl, Marissa and I wrote a goddamn home book.
Yeah.
Look at that. And I love the title.
Thank you.
Because that is a real, somebody check on them.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, and we can, guys, I don't think sometimes we don't check on it don't have to be a loved one, a relative, a friend. Mm-hmm. Somebody check, because we don't know what people going through. And you wrote a book, magnifying that and getting all and putting those thoughts to paper to thoughts, manifested in the world. Mm-hmm. Okay, so did you feel? I always ask anybody this, that anybody said anything, and some of this might be because I'm pretty sure, and a lot of people on Facebook right now is just finding this out because they did not know. Because even guys, they did not know. When I put the link, they're like, "Oh my God, I didn't know." Do you feel as though you got the support that you let's say we're expecting? That just say expecting.
I didn't have expectations of support.
Okay.
And the reason why is because I was doing it as a promise to myself. The first book was just a promise to myself.
Okay.
What I will say is, to the small group of people that I did actually tell, they really did love on me in a way that was, much more than I really, could have asked for.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's taken me a while. It's very new for me. Okay. So I'm still learning how to, show up as the author and like, hey, I wrote this book, I really want you to read it. I'm still learning how to show up as that girl, which is why Amazon is still the seller, because it's kind of like having Amazon in the middle. So I'm not like ringing you up and taking your money from my book. I'm just not there yet. I still feel really new. I'm gaining confidence with it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you are. So you do that self-published. See, this is what I thought. I thought you did. I thought you wrote like a transcript, wrote it, shipped it off, and got a book back. No, you did the whole thing yourself and just had them put the book together.
Right. I created the cover. All of that on both books. I created the cover on my workbook, which is the second book that you're mentioning. It's a wellness workbook for preteen girls. So it has,
and it's called. And the name of this book is called.
It's called Black Girl, You're Everything.
Could you please show the book in the
Yeah,
camera?
called Black Girl You're Everything, a 30-day wellness workbook to remind young girls of their greatness. And I made it for preteen girls ages 10 to 14. It's a 30-day book. It asks them 3 questions a day for 30 days. And it just allows them to self-assess, talk about, their moods, talk about who they admire, talk about who they consider friends, talk about what they consider friendship to be. Just a lot of things that they can ask themselves and after the 30 days, really be able to self-assess and say who they are and really know who you are, because that's what's most important to anything else that we do in our lives, is knowing who we are. So the purpose of this workbook is really just to help young girls know who they are, feel confident in who they are. I have 30 quotes from 30 different Black women and girls at the front of the book. I have a personalized letter to every little girl that gets the book, telling her why I wrote the book. And then in the back, I have 30 affirmations that she can say one a day for 30 days. She can say all 30 every day. But, just affirmations, just speaking life, into her. Like, it's my baby. It's really, I really love it because I sat down and I wrote it for my 11, 12-year-old self when I was like keeping a lot of things inside. I didn't talk to people about things. I didn't really keep a diary. So like if I had a workbook, something that, let me put my thoughts out and ask me questions that I didn't know to ask myself, I think it would have been helpful. I'm not saying anything would have been different, but it would have been helpful. So yeah, that's my baby. I love it. I love it.
Wow. Let me tell you something. Wow. See, I ain't gonna come and go with that one. I think that is really deep, and I think that is really needed in the Black community. And I think that is something that cross all economic lines, that cross all different households, whether nuclear, non-nuclear, single, not single. I even think, even though it's meant for preteens, I can even see some women having this book too, because sometimes they have to assess. I'm not the woman, y'all, and I'm not gonna tell you how to feel. You're not gonna. I don't want to hear nothing about that. Don't jump on me, ladies. But I think it's very good to have something to express yourself. Then look back at it, be like, okay, this is where I was 7 days ago. I'm not here no more. And so, when did this book get released?
Okay, so this book was released over the summer in 2021. I was a little quiet about it too. I was a little more active about it than I was the first book, but it was released over the summer. Yeah, and it's like I said, it's my baby. I dedicated it to 4 girls that I know in real life. A couple of them call me God Mom. So I definitely, did it for them and for girls like them, because like you said, it's needed. I think even with my title, Somebody Please Check on a Black Girl, when that came to me, I was like, that's going to be my title, because that's all I really want you to do is to check on a Black girl. I feel like women and girls are left to cape for themselves a lot. And I think it's because no one ever says, well, did you check on her? Like, did you check on her? Like the regular Black girl, the regular talking, the regular walking, not the extremes. Because we like to focus on the extremes, the really quiet one or the really loud one. So what about the girl in the middle? That doesn't really cause any waves, things like that. Is anybody checking on her? Or are we still making sure that, she has all the things that she needs, that she's as confident in herself as you push confidence on the quiet one? Now, is she as comfortable with herself as you push comfort on the loud one? What about the girls in the middle? So it's kind of like it's for the girls in the middle, the girls that kind of get left to kind of figure things out on their own.
These titles just come to you. That sounds like a title there. To the girls in the middle. So
it might be.
So you wrote 2 books in what is that? 2 books in a year?
Yeah.
Or less than a year?
Yeah.
That's 2 books less than a year. That's 2 books less than a year. that ain't that's crazy. Like the good crazy, like get it, girl.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
so okay, so you do that. So I'm telling you, you sound like a life coach to me. So like in a perfect world, because I think some of these books might need to be um in schools and selective reading. Because I read those books over them Zane books. Hello, all the daddies out there. Um, so well, we taught the purpose of this book. So, do you think that your writing, or you think your writing might change? You can answer this question how you want. So, do you think your writing is mainly to focus on helping young girls, or do you see your writing shifting, or your writing just it depends on how you feel during that time frame?
I think my writing will not shift, but I think it will expand
Okay.
to preteen boys. I think it will expand because I think and the reason why I'm working on a workbook for them, but the reason why it's taking longer is because I'm not a boy. I've never been a boy, so I have to research more on how, what would keep a boy entertained in order to be able to self-assess themselves, and the best way to get that done.
Correct.
But I think I'm always going to be the Black girl's advocate. I think I'm always going to be the Black girl's biggest fan. I think that anything I write will always be to just say, hey, me and my friends did this. We suggest you don't do it this way. Or me and my friends did this, and we think that if you do it, you'll be great. You'll be better off. And you'll thank yourself for it. So I think that'll always be where I am, because that's just always been who I've been. I've just always been a girl's girl. So my books are just a reflection of really who I've always been.
And I think everybody can attest to that. So you don't have to speak on it too much. You got something in the lab right now, or nothing in the lab right now? You gonna let the babies breathe?
There's always something in the lab. I hit publish and I'm going to go do something else. It's always something in the lab. Listen, my notebook is down to 2 blank pages left now. I got to move on to another notebook. It's always something in the lab. I'm going to always create because, that's just, I'll do it for free.
Wow.
So I'm always going to do that. Right now, I have a podcast that I'm the co-host of. It's called The Good Thing and the Girlfriend. The Good Thing is my one of my best friends, Letitia Smalls, and then the girlfriend, that's me. So we have a podcast, a lifestyle podcast for millennial women that we're working on. It's always something. It's always something.
Well, I've been waiting for that podcast to drop. Shout out Tisha. Shout out Tisha. Tisha Smalls. Tisha Smalls is married to one of the homies, little Chris, who one day me, him, and Q is gonna get on here and tell some stories when we 60 years old. Had a good time. Have you tell me we 60 years old. Shout out you and Tisha, because I think it's very big. One thing I love about even these podcasts is I love people like, hey Marvin, how you start a podcast? I said, take your phone out, hit record, and figure the rest out. Because you have to start with the content, and you couldn't worry about publishing a book if you didn't sit down with that pen and paper and start putting thoughts to paper. And you did that, and so I want to make sure I tell you guys that's running numbers up. To purchase the book, that's why I love copy and link. That's why I love links. If you're on Facebook, no excuses. You got to search. I like to make this thing easy as possible. Hit the link. I even had the book highlighted. 4 books. Somebody check on the black girl. Black girl, you are everything. I got the titles right? Oh my God! I got the titles right.
Yes,
okay.
You got the titles correct. This is what I say. Now, if you go to order the first one, somebody please check on the black girl, and it gives you trouble, it's okay. It's okay. Just go order the workbook. Because the reason why it has given you trouble, I don't know what day you're gonna be watching this if you're not watching it live, but the reason why it's giving you trouble is because I took it down for a moment. But the reason why I'm taking it down is because I'm a little more comfortable and I want to talk about it a little bit more. So
okay,
I want to go in and give you a second version, written by the girl who already knows what it feels like to put one out. So yeah, that's another thing that I'm definitely working on because I want to.
oh, they go to black girl. They go to black girl there. Yeah, see that thing snuck out, y'all. That is
yeah, I want to, and if you're blessed by it, if you learn something about me, if you learn something about yourself, if it inspires you, if you hate it, if you whatever it is, then I've done what I'm supposed to do. It's energy. It'll be here now while I'm here. It'll be here when I'm gone, and I'm really good with it.
I'm telling you, guys, and if you want to buy for no other reason, just accept she's from the bird. We okay with that too.
Right.
Get a book and get the book, put on the bookshelf, read it, give it as a gift. Guys, and this is another example of. That's why I say we are a small town, but the talent and the entrepreneur spirit and the drive in Orangeburg, South Carolina, even though people run, but the drive is like no place I've ever seen. The diversity of people that I can personally say I know, I don't have to guess, I don't have to lie about nothing. I can say that I know is so diverse. I don't know if I can find that somewhere else.
Right. It's probably everywhere, but I didn't realize what Orangeburg did for me until I left Orangeburg. And then I was just like, oh, like, like I came to Atlanta and had people calling me Geechee, and I'm like, I am not Geechee. I know Geechee people. We ain't Geechee. But being outside of Orangeburg and being around people who aren't, from there, and them telling, them noticing, what I eat and the foods I eat, and then me doing, researching, like, dang, this sticks out to people, and learning, like, yeah, these are Gullah foods, Geechee foods. We have a menu similar to, basically the lower part, of the South. We eat a lot of rice because we grew rice, like all of these things. So it's just, I learned a lot about myself by leaving Orangeburg. But I love the fact that I'm part of the generation in Orangeburg that is really like on their stuff. Like I love the fact that Lavenice got the store. I love the fact you got this podcast. I love seeing Briante on my timeline doing like all her hosting stuff. My friend Janae, she has her, creams and her soaps and everything like that. Davey, like I'm glad that I'm in this generation because I really feel like
it's different.
It's different. It's really different. And it's going to be a point where we at the Rock Nation brunch, and it's like, different. No, I really know him. He's from Orangeburg.
yeah. Shout out, and I appreciate that. Shout out, I'll give the example. Shout out to Josh Myers, who's a professor at Howard, tenure professor, who also stole my picture that Baller Alert took, my butter pecan picture. Josh, I don't forgive you about that, but hey, you started that one. You stole that picture. So shout out to Aaron, who's a doctor. Shout out to I just shout out to everybody who got us doing their own things, and everybody living, everybody balling, everybody doing their thing. So I'm gonna let you have the last words, and I thank you for doing this interview. Let me tell you something, guys. I'm gonna tell you now. We were probably supposed to do this interview probably, well, you said maybe 4 or 5 months ago, maybe?
Yeah, it was a few months ago.
But guys, I'm glad she did it. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I thought she was gonna renege on me. I ain't gonna lie, guys. I ain't gonna
No.
lie. But she did. But I'm just picking, guys. But she did it, and I'd love to see. I love to. I just hate sometimes we put too much. We give too much reverence to celebrities. We don't reverence the people who we know who are doing great things.
Mm-hmm.
That's focus on us, that support us. That's why people laugh at me. They be like, bro, you wear so much bird clothes. Man, I'm Orangeburg down to the socks. Shout out D-Lot, shout out D-Lot for the heavy nugget socks. I got heavy nugget socks. Shout out, I got some EJ sending me my sweatsuit now, some stuff for the bird. Like when I say like, boy, you ride for the bird so hard, like, bro, you know how easy to ride? Because I know these people. These ain't no people I don't know. Shout out to the homie who be watching from behind the wall. I'm not gonna say your name, but shout out to you, homie. That's support too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let Rich have the last words, and before she get the last words, link above for both books. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, link below. If you're watching us on Instagram, follow the link in bio to the live thing. And I'm also gonna have her in there tagging it. So you can also go to her page. You can also find the book. We ain't playing. Let's run the numbers up.
Yeah.
To get the last words.
I want to thank you so much for having me. Like I told you, I was already watching. I was already very much proud of you. So thank you so much. It's been great talking to you. And I just want to say, like, to your point about networking with people that you know, like, that's one thing I got from an interview that Issa Rae did. She said a lot of times we want to network up. We want the big person that's doing what we want to do. We want to grab onto them, when the idea is really to network network with people that you know. You need somebody to, make you some merch or do something like that. You go to somebody that you know that's doing it. And ultimately, that's how you pull the whole city up. Instead of just talking about the city, that's how you pull the city up. You network with the city. That's the only way it'll work. But like I said, thank you so much. Thank y'all for the sweet comments. Thank y'all for the love. Like, I really feel the energy. I'm only on Instagram and Twitter. Both of those, my @ is Wordy McFlirty, which is WORDY MCFLIRTY. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a little reserved when it comes to my social media. So right now it's private, but I promise if you request, I'll let you come in. I'm just not comfortable with it being open right now. But like he said, the links for the books are there. I thank you in advance for your support. I thank you in advance for telling the next person. I thank you in advance for putting me in your prayers. I thank you in advance for just being the change that you want to see in your community, in your neighborhood. Like I said, look out for our podcast, The Good Thing and the Girlfriend, with me and Tisha. And just look out for more works that I have coming. I promise. They're going to be worth your while, because, listen, I'm going to give you all I got. And that's a promise.
Bam. And just like that, guys, episode 80. Episode 80, Marisa Victoria. Hey, somebody please go check on the black girl. And black girl, you are everything. Bam. And everything is you. And guys, just like that, episode 80, if you're watching this, please hit that like, hit that share button. Have a blessed night. Have a blessed day. Hey, guys. Hey, it's the bird. We got something to say. And I want to thank y'all, because shout out to everybody. Shout out to the young lady, Kimberly Thomas, who made that bird thing. I took it. Hey, be all the bird. Hey, we got love for everybody. It was all just a joke. Some people take it a little serious. Some people did take it a little serious. It's all love. And guys, episode 80, we out.